Welcome Bitcoin friends, it's Bitcoin Mamo. Today we'll look at the Bitcoin charts, we'll do some TA. Bitcoin has almost broken its all-time high, so we'll look at what we can see in the charts. I want to apologize for the delay in the video. I was sick over the weekend, so I took a few days off, but I am feeling better now. So let's start here, comparing some altcoins to Bitcoin over the month of October as we've been doing. And we can see Bitcoin is up 48% during this month. Looking at ETH, we see that it's up 29%. Link is up about 10%. Solana is up 13%. And ADA is pretty much break even at the moment. So we do still see Bitcoin leading the way and money moving from alts back into Bitcoin. Onto the 2-week chart now. This is on the log scale. Had these order blocks drawn. These are demand and supply zones. In an uptrend, we look for that single red candle. These become of interest later on. We had these 3 levels drawn, and we are currently well above the final order block here, with the top of it being around 59,000. See how close we are now to that all-time high. Last video, we were talking about some measured moves here and possible targets, and doing a fib extension from this high here to the low on this pullback. Talked about this 1.618 level at around 63,400. We did hit that target. I did take some profits on my trade at that level. We also had the extension drawn, looking at this as a bull flag, and the 1-to-1 extension here gave us a similar target around that 63.4 area. So we have met both of those targets. We had another fib extension here, the 2 level. We can see that's at around 70,800. You can also look at this in a logarithmic way. We are on the log scale and using the trend-based fib extension tool from this low to this high back to this low. It gives us a 1-to-1 extension, which gives us the same measured move here, but looking at it on a log scale. So it is different to a regular scale move, which gave us this target here at 63.4. And on the log scale, we get this target here at around 71,500. And it is quite close to that 2-level fib extension. And these fib extensions are also based on the log scale, where we have this box ticked here, fib level based on log scale. So this is a possible target. As I said, this is the 2-week chart. Also have this parallel channel drawn on the log scale. It would look different on a regular scale. We are above the similar channel on a regular scale. But doing it on a log scale, we can see that the top of this channel is currently around 67,000. We'll open a new 2-week candle on Monday, and the top of this channel would then be around 71,400. which is also around this area of these 2 extension targets. So I do think we might get a pullback at some time here. Sometimes we do get some volatility when breaking the all-time high. We can move up quite quickly and get a throwback. And I wouldn't rule it out that we do come back and test the top of this order block, which is at approximately 59,000. And I will show you another chart that also gives a possible pullback to this area. We can also see we have that VPVR support here, amount of volume traded at certain price levels. I do think that would be the lowest pullback we would have. And looking at the weekly chart, it is very similar to that 2-week chart. We have that 2-week order block here. We see that similar VPVR support, and we do have 4 weekly green candles here in a row. We do see on this initial run up, we did have 5 weekly candles and had a bit of a throwback around this area. We'll have to see what Bitcoin does when it does break the all-time high. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we are pretty much at 100 reading now. And looking at the RSI, we have negated any divergence here. We are making higher highs. Looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart now. This is on the log scale also. We just have this channel drawn here, which is different to that parallel channel, just a different interpretation. We can see when drawing it this way, we are above this channel, And on a pullback, this could be a possible bounce area on the retest of this trend line. We also have these order blocks drawn here on the daily, and we're just getting those from back in March to May of this year. And we can just see here this red candle in the uptrend, this red candle here in the uptrend, this green candle in the downtrend, and this green candle here in the downtrend. So I've just kept these ones on the chart as they still may be relevant on a pullback. But what we can see zooming in here is we did come up to this order block here on this pump from 57k to 63k. Pretty much just touched this order block. We did get a rejection here, came down to this thinner order block here, and we did get bought up with these wicks here. We closed the bodies of these candles above this order block. We came back to the highest order block here. We have gone above it now. So we could come back down to retest this order block as support. And if it fails, perhaps we might have a bigger pullback here. This is that trend line that we talked about. And we can see that's down at around 59,000 currently. Looking at the VPVR now on this current move in relation to these order blocks, we can see we did have a lot of volume here traded. So this area could also act as support on a pullback, with the biggest spike being around 62,000. Below that, we have another spike down here at around 57.5 and lower down at 55. We really do have to see how Bitcoin responds to that all-time high. If we do have a quick move up and then possibly a throwback, then these levels may become relevant if that does occur. The EMA ribbon on the daily has been climbing up quite quickly here, as we mentioned in previous videos. Currently the top of this ribbon is at 56,860, and in a couple of days we'll be at the top of this trend line at around 59,000 when looking at this overall channel. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we are still in the bullish control zone here. As mentioned, we can stay up here for quite a long time. The RSI is getting quite high here. We're currently at a 75 reading, but we can see we are making successive higher highs here on the RSI. So there is no divergence present currently. Onto the 4-hour chart now. This is the price action from that 30k low. And I've just drawn a channel here from the 47k low here to our current high. This is a parallel channel on the regular price scale, not the logarithmic price scale. And this is more relevant to this shorter term time frame. And we can see we have been bouncing in this channel currently. Doing a fib retracement from this low before this current move up to the top. We do see that 382 level at around 60,500. So perhaps on a pullback, we might just come back to the bottom of this parallel channel and also the 382 level. This blue box is that 2-week order block. And looking at the VPVR, we do see that big spike here at 62,000. And the 4-hour EMA ribbon has been acting as support the whole time here, pretty much traveling alongside the bottom of this channel. This white line here is where the daily EMA ribbon is currently on the top of the ribbon. So we can see it's not too far away from that 4-hour EMA ribbon. And in a few days, we'll be around the top of this 2-week order block. If we were to get a pullback, then I would be looking around this area starting from this 382 level, which would also be the bottom of this EMA ribbon on the 4-hour, and as low as this order block here with the daily EMA ribbon, which is fast approaching the top of this order block at 59,000. Looking at the stochastic RSI, we are at a 90 reading. We are only just entering the upper regions here. Looking at the RSI, we are currently seeing lower highs here, but higher highs on the price. So there is that potential for this triple bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart. We would need to make a higher high here to negate that. So this might possibly play out as a pullback, possibly to the areas that we spoke about. But I think if we do break that all-time high, there's a high chance that we will break this bearish divergence that may possibly be forming. Now I just want to look at that comparison with the 2013 cycle and the current cycle. We talked about these fib extension levels on the log scale using the logarithmic setting on the fibs and taking it from the previous market cycle all-time high to the bear market low and doing these fib extensions. And we also did that here on the 2021 cycle, that 20k high to the $3,000 low. I want to look at this mid-cycle pullback in detail here with the current cycle. So as mentioned in other videos, we are doing very similar thing to 2013 mid-cycle pullback and looking at these fib levels I've got drawn. I have added a few more here, the 1.595, the 1.545 and the 1.687. They aren't actually fib levels, but I've just added them to compare certain levels and their relativity to the current cycle. You can see we got a throwback around that 1.618 level, came back to the 1.272. Did a similar thing in this cycle. We got that bounce. We came up to the 1.545 level and got a decent throwback to the 1.414 level. We did a very similar thing in this cycle, came up to the 1.545 level, got a throwback to the 1.414 level. And just zooming in on that a bit closer, here's that throwback from the 1.545 level to the 1.414 level. And now we have had this recovery. And in 2013, we didn't get a decent pullback till we got to this 1.687 level in blue. So I've marked that same fib level on the current cycle. We can see we're doing a similar thing. We haven't had any pullback since that 1.414 level. So I'm postulating that perhaps we're going to do a similar thing as this throwback here, as they were very comparable. So if we were to do that, perhaps we're going to come all the way up to this 1.687 level at 68,900 approximately, and then get a throwback here to this yellow line, which is the 1.595 level, and this would be around 58,400. And I also have this blue box drawn here, which is actually that 2-week order block that we talked about, that we might come back on a throwback and retest for support. So we do see it is in confluence if we were to do a similar thing as 2013 here. We'll have to watch how this plays out. It is very interesting how similar these movements have been. So I think that's about all. I think this is going to be an important chart to follow here. And if we do break that all-time high, we might get that quick run up to 69k and then get that throwback to test that 2-week order block and do a similar thing as 2013. But we'll have to watch it how it plays out upon breaking that all-time high and follow it candle by candle. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that analysis on Bitcoin Mamo. I'll see you next time. Bye.